All right. Well, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Janine Forsyth Lefevre. I am the program manager for the Wyoming PTAC, the Procurement Technical Assistance Center. We provide no cost advising, coaching, soundboard for anything related to government contracting, and that can be local contracting, state, federal, any kind of selling goods or services to the government. We are happy to assist you with. And we're really excited today to have Tiffanie Williams from the Wyoming Department of Transportation here to present to us about the Disadvantaged Business Enterprise Program with WYDOT. This is something that's really exciting that I know we have worked with some of our clients on in the past. And so I, for one, am just really looking forward to hearing more about it. So go ahead, Tiffanie, and you just let me know when to advance your slides.
All right, thank you so much. So good afternoon, everybody. I hope you're doing well. So my name is Tiffanie Williams. I am the Disadvantaged Business Enterprise Program Coordinator. I've been with WYDOT for a little over a year. Today, I just want to give you a little brief overview of the DBE program. And if you have any questions, please feel free to ask. And we can always do a Q&A at the end of the program. So if you want to go ahead and advance, my dear. All right. So what is the Disadvantaged Business Program? A DBE is a for-profit business that is at least 51% minority or women-owned and controlled. The need for the DBE program stems from the need to create a level playing field for minority and women-owned businesses, so they are able to bid competitively for federal dollars. DBEs are not only highway construction firms, we have engineering firms, consultants, suppliers, and an array of different companies that are part of our DBE program. Next slide, please. The DBE program was developed to offer equal opportunity to disadvantaged individuals for federally funded dollars. The definition of a disadvantaged person are as follows. So it's women, Black Americans, Hispanic Americans, Native Americans, Asian Pacific Americans, and some subcontinent Asian Americans. Next slide, please. The certification process to become a DBE is very in-depth. Interested parties must apply for certification in their home state, meaning the state in which your business resides. We do have some companies that are registered in Wyoming, but they're not located here. So you actually have to apply where you'd be located. So if your business is here in Wyoming, you would go ahead and apply with our office for the DBE program. Application's about 15 pages long, and it requires an extensive look at the finances and the background of both the company and the owner or owners. The intent is to verify all of the information provided. We want to look at who makes the financial decisions for the company, who holds the license or licenses if necessary, who has the expertise, and if these questions are not the economically disadvantaged owner, chances are you wouldn't qualify for the program. Our certification process can take up to 90 days. We try to do them as quickly as possible. It really depends on how long it takes to get the information to us. Like I said, it is very lengthy and we do ask for a lot of paperwork. So next slide, please. Once you're certified, you're able to bid as a subcontractor or a supplier, or you're a consultant that you can look at doing with the projects. You can't bid as a prime contractor unless you're pre-qualified. So your name and company is going to be published on the DBE directory that we have. So that's used for reference when people are looking for a DBE. The listing is going to have all of your contact information as well as what your company does. You'll also be able to receive project plans free of charge, and you'll be invited to bid on different projects. Next slide, please. So Wyoming runs a race neutral program and we don't set contract goals. So DBE companies bid competitively just like other subcontractors. We do require contractors to actively solicit DBEs when there are opportunities available to them. We verify that this has been done prior to the award of a contract. The contractors must give the DBE sufficient time to reply and submit their information for a potential bid. Our current goal is 5.2%, meaning that we must have at least 5.29% of our federal dollars going to minority or women-owned businesses. Next slide, please. So in the fiscal year of 2020, the federal government spent over $650 billion on contracts for goods and services, of which nearly $560 billion was eligible to those to be done through small businesses. Yet minority small-owned business received just 9.4% of those small business eligible federal contracting dollars, and women-owned small businesses a mere 4.9 to 5%. To put this in perspective, almost 19% of U.S. employer businesses are minority-owned, and just under 21% are owned by women. So next slide, please. So that's just a small brief overview of the Disadvantaged Business Enterprise Program. If you have any questions, my contact information is here, as well as my program manager's information. So, and I appreciate you guys taking the time to listen about our program today.
Yeah, thank you so much, Tiffany. I'm wondering if you would be willing, and I might, since I'm driving, if I could go back to, let's see. Would you be willing to just talk a little bit more about what the application process looks like?
Yeah.
I know that you mentioned that it's about 15 pages. There is financial information that needs to be disclosed. Do applicants also need to supply things like tax returns, copies of things like that? What other sort of tips, or kind of not really insider info, but what other insight can you give to those folks that might want to go after this, but hope to get a good idea of what the time commitment or the effort commitment might look like?
Yeah, absolutely. So what we're going to look for is, like I said, the application itself is about 15 pages. So we look at resumes. They would need to provide that information so we can look into it to ensure that they know what they're doing with the company. So for example, if I applied and Lisa was reviewing my paperwork and I said that I was an electrician, but I didn't have anything in my background for it, obviously I wouldn't be able to do that type of a job, and my company wouldn't be able to. So we would look at resume, we look at net worth, taxes, we look at both the financial information for the owner or owners, as well as the financial information for the company. We're going to go ahead and look at any loan documents that might be out there that they're looking at for setting up the company. We look at licenses if they have any. We'll ask for bank signature card, schedule salaries, employee information if they do have employees with the company. And it really depends on how the company's set up. If they're set up as a corporation or LLC, they might have a little bit more information that they would need to provide. The nice thing is the very last page of the application packet does give them a list of everything they need. And then when they get things to me, I do my best to tell them as soon as possible what I need and give them any further information.
Great, that's really helpful. It's sounding to me to have a lot of similarities with some of the SBA certifications in terms of the information that's provided and the kind of review that you all are doing. What would the typical time frame look like? Say a business turns in a complete application. What happens after that?
So generally, if they turn everything in, I try to review everything and get back with them within 30 days. So part of the application process would be an on-site review. We are able to do those virtually. So say it's terrible weather and it's snowing, because we all live in Wyoming and that happens like now. but we would do an on-site, so we could actually go to the facility. We would meet with the owner of the business, look at some different things, look at the facility that they're at. Say, for example, they're a flagging company. We would want to go look and see their warehouse. Where do they have everything stored? Sometimes if we're able to, we'll go look at a job and get a better idea of what they're doing, because we really want to make sure that when we're certifying these companies, we're saying, yes, absolutely, for sure, they know what they're doing. They're able to perform these job duties. It's actually a really neat process, and I really enjoy from start to finish. So being able to interact with the owner, get to know them a little bit more, get some more information, go out and meet with them, and then, you know, help them along the way when they're bidding on stuff or answer any other questions that they might have.
Thank you. That's great. And as we're chatting, anyone on the call, if you have questions, please feel free to just unmute and ask, or you're welcome to use the chat feature in Zoom. I'm happy to read your question if you'd rather type it. Yeah, and I'll just pause for a moment in case anyone wants to interject and pop in. Okay, great. I think, Tiffany, one of the questions that I get really often, and you did touch on this a little bit, for some of these certifications like the YDOT, the DBE, or like the SBA woman-owned small business, or whatever it is, hub zone, whatever, right? It is a time investment and an investment of effort on behalf of the business. So I think highlighting what the return is really important. How do the YDOT DBEs find out about upcoming projects and opportunities?
So under the doing business with YDOT on the website, it does have a listing of all the projects that are coming up to bid, but we do have the set listing of DBEs in our directory. So for example, if I'm a prime contractor and I'm getting ready to bid for a job, I know that I'm going to look for, say, Lisa does flagging. Well, I'm going to need that on my job. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to look at her, and I'll reach out as the prime contractor and say, hey, this is what we're looking for. Can you get a bid to me? So what they'll do is they'll submit their information to the prime. And then once all of the bids are submitted with YDOT, I review all the stuff before anything's officially awarded. So we make sure that they're reaching out to the DBEs and saying, hey, are you interested to bid on my project?
Great, great. And we do have a question in the chat. Part of the requirements is for a business to be 51% owned by a US citizen. Is the program open for US permanent residents with at least 51% in the company?
I would refer that to Lisa. She is the program manager. She would probably be able to answer that a lot quicker than I would, because I would have to look that back up, because that is something that I haven't come up with yet.
So currently the regulations specifically say US citizen. So we would have to look at the documentation for US permanent resident. We have had companies who are in the process of obtaining certification be certified through the United States. So that would kind of be reviewed on a case-by-case basis, depending on what the level of citizenship is, if you will. But yeah, it does say US citizenship.
Thanks, Lisa.
You're welcome.
Thank you. What other questions do we have? Great. Well, we'll continue chatting here for a little while longer. So if something comes up, please feel free. And Tiffany and Lisa, thank you so much for being on the line. What I thought I might do is bring up just a little bit of information about us here at the PTAC and how we work together to support businesses in applying for the DBE. But before I do that, I'm going to go back to Lisa and Tiffany's contact information to make sure everybody has that and has that available. And we did send these slides out to the folks that pre-registered, so hopefully you have that. I know that folks, Tiffany, do have to request an application. Is that still correct? It doesn't just sit out on the website.
Correct. They do request an application.
Okay, great. And the best way to do that would be over email, is that right?
Yep, they can email me or they can go to the website that's listed in one of the slides, but they can email me. That's perfectly fine and say, I'm looking into the DBE, and I'll go ahead and get right to them.
Okay, great. Great, that's really helpful. All right, I'm going to close that for a moment. All right, so just for a brief moment, for those of you who might be new and wondering, what is the PTAC and why are we talking to YDOT? The Wyoming PTAC, which I'm the program manager, provides no-cost government contracting assistance for Wyoming businesses, and that includes certifications like the YDOT DBE. We also help with the woman-owned small business 8A program with the SBA, which is for minority-owned businesses. We help with veteran-owned small businesses, hub zone certification. Really, the goal is to help Wyoming-based businesses successfully sell their goods or services to the U.S. government in the easiest way possible. It's not ever going to be easy, but we can hopefully add a little bit of ease into the process. We are funded by the Department of Defense. And so even though we're funded by a federal agency, we can help with state and local government procurement as well, including the Department of Transportation. And a lot of our clients do work with YDOT, which is really exciting. So we get to hear about some of the projects that they work on fairly regularly, and I love it. Some of the things we provide: free one-on-one counseling. So anything related, whether it's just starting on your DBE application, you're just wondering, is it a good program for me? Looking at your application packet before you submit it to Tiffany, we're happy to be just another set of eyes to make sure that you've hit everything on the checklist and there aren't any major typos, that the resumes make sense, that sort of thing. We're happy to do that. Of course, we can't guarantee that you'll be approved. That's Tiffany and Lisa's shop. But we can just kind of be a second set of eyeballs, making sure that everything seems to look okay. We have a bid match service. And so part of that, it's a free daily email. I put together a search for you based on your capabilities. And so every day you get an email to your inbox at any open bids or solicitations that might meet your capabilities. And that includes Department of Transportation. I don't know, Tiffany, do you all still put things out on public purchase?
To my knowledge, yes, we do.
Yeah, so our bid match does pick up anything on public purchase. So as long as we have those keywords matching up, say you do excavation work or road work, YDOT puts out a bid that has something to do with that, you're going to see it through our bid match, and that's free again. Like I mentioned, we do certification walkthroughs, so we can help you with this process. We can help you prepare proposals. We can't do them for you, but again, we're right there with you, giving you ideas, helping you with your outlines, language, typos, anything like that. We do help you in terms of any questions you might have working with primes. And that does seem to be another factor of the DBE program, is that you will be working with some of these primes that are working with the Department of Transportation. So what does it look like to be a subcontractor? What are some strategies to connect with primes? How do you successfully team up with another business? That could be its whole own webinar on its own, right? Like successful teaming. I like to say, like, are there some competimates out there that you could potentially team up with and really be successful at a larger YDOT contract, for example? Those are all things we can help you think about. We provide tons of free training like today. like what we're doing right now. We like to do a lot of it virtually to make it accessible and worth your time. We do have networking events about twice a year where we have either virtual or in-person matchmaking, where you can meet procurement officers and the government buyers and tell them about who you are and what you do and what makes you the best fit to solve the problem that they have or the procurement goal that they have. Referrals for additional service we can also do. One thing, and I don't know, Tiffany, if this is something that's on YDOT's radar yet or not, is cybersecurity. I know in the federal contracting space, there's a lot of talk about cybersecurity. So a business has access to plans around a construction project. Are those being kept in a safe and secure way? I don't know if that's something you all are touching on yet or not.
I'm not sure. That is a good question.
Right. Yeah, a lot of our federal contractors are starting to see flow down requirements where they have to have certain cybersecurity mechanisms in place. And for some of our businesses, that's a little bit of a learning curve. Some of us do better than others, like me. Like I think I kind of understand that I should have different passwords for different sites, and like that's about it, right? But some of these folks, there are lots of requirements. So we do have access to some good referral resources. If you need some expert help, maybe shoring up your cybersecurity, or we can refer folks for accounting. We have access to a QuickBooks expert here at the SBDC if you need QuickBooks help. So we're a good place to start. What am I missing, or are there any questions? I know our Associate State Director, Paul, not to put you on the spot, but you are on the line. Is there anything else you'd like to touch on or ask of us today?
I would throw in a plug for our market research services and website analysis and social media analysis. I think those are good services that might apply to some of our government contracting people.
Yep, absolutely. Here at the Small Business Development Center, we do have access to market research, quite a bit of it. We have a market research center that can look into who buys what you sell, who buys the services that you provide. And then at the PTAC, we also have access to a big database called FedMine, which is just as cool as it sounds. I can see which federal agencies buy what, for how much, for how often. If there was a big contract that came through this year, or it's a 5-year contract that's been ongoing, we can see who the incumbent is. We can see who won it last time, and try to give you as much information as we can so that you can be successful in your government contracting goals. So that's a great plug, Paul. Anything else from our attendees? I know this was a pretty quick and easy overview. I love the simplicity of the DBE program as you presented it, Tiffany. It seems to be a nice combination of really making sure that the program benefits who it is supposed to benefit without being overly complicated. So that's unusual to find in government.
That is true.
Right. Obi's asking, how do we join the PTAC? You can simply reach out to us. If you're not physically located in Wyoming, I think everyone on the call is. If you're in Wyoming, you can reach out to me. If you're not in Wyoming, I have a link here on the slide. Our National Association is APTAC, which is the Association of Procurement Technical Assistance Centers. There's at least one of us in every state, and it's all free. I like to say that you might as well use PTAC services because you have already paid for us with your tax dollars. So why not start here? So if you go out to that APTAC site, you can type in the state that you reside in and see the contact information for the PTAC that's located nearest you. Right now for the state of Wyoming, I am it, folks. Yeah, Obi says Wyoming's home. Yeah, start home. Exactly. Yeah, I'm it for the state of Wyoming. The good news is I have colleagues all over the nation, and we all work together really well. Anything else from the group? Yeah, have you seen a thing that's why homing? I'll type it in there. I love that. I feel like Obi will like it. Why homing? There we go. I put it in the chat. Yeah. All right, well, Tiffany, it's so great to meet you, and Lisa as well. I really hope that the PTAC and YDOT can continue to work together on this. If you ever get any inquiries from businesses that would like to apply but might need a little bit of assistance, please feel free to refer them. And if I get questions I cannot answer about your program, which I'm sure will be a lot, I'm going to send them your way.
That sounds great. Thank you so much for having us. We appreciate it.
All right, thank you so much, everyone. And I did record this. We'll get it up on our website so you can review it if you need to. And in the meantime, just let us know if we need help. Oh, we have a couple questions coming in. Yeah, Lisa, you're very welcome. Alicia says, do you help support information with larger project bonds? I'm guessing, Alicia, that might be for the PTAC. We certainly can point you in a direction to learn more about construction bonding. Lisa, did you have something to add to that?
Same thing. We would actually point them in the direction. We have some contacts that do bonding through the state of Wyoming, and we could definitely send them their way for training or assistance with obtaining a bond. Absolutely.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah, I really love that. You know, all of us are here with the same goal in mind, which is to help our small businesses continue to thrive and grow and get some of this government work. So I think we're all here for you guys. All right, well, we'll say goodbye for now. Enjoy the rest of your Wednesday and take care, everyone. Hope to hear from you soon. Don't forget, we have the infrastructure investment. What is the word? It's IIJA. I'm blanking. Next Wednesday, anyway, another webinar. This time you can register for it on our website, talking about all about some additional funds that are coming down the pike. And I believe we have Jesse from YDOT is presenting then. I forget his last name, but that's going to be great. We also have the governor's office and a bunch of other folks.
Kirkmeyer, Jesse Kirkmeyer.
Thank you. Jesse Kirkmeyer, yes. All right. Take care, everybody. Have a good day. Thanks again.
Thanks.
Yep.